Mount Kogus.
Yep.
You know, the one of course would be the Trover Kogus, which comes in a dark form and a melanistic form. It is a dark morph Leachianus, although the non-melanistic geckos can sometimes be light, but they also are dark.
Okay.
So it can be a little bit confusing. But it's a dark form for the most part. They do have a stumpier, shorter tail than most of the GT type A's, and they have a very bulky body and a bulky head. They have the really extreme rostral scales that are pronounced along the ridge of the nose, and they have that black line underneath between the rostral and labial scales, which is pretty commonly seen. It's seen more in the melanistic version. You can really see it clearly.
Right.
The babies black blotches going down the back, which is pretty consistent in Kogus, and it's a massive form, 400 plus grams. Yeah, they're pretty massive. What else were we going to talk about?
Cycloids?
Oh, Kogus. That was really interesting to find later down the road. Again, going to the ham show in Germany. So when you go to Mount Kogus, the animals you see are not Trover Kogus as a tourist. And you go to the touristy areas, or you go to like the hotels that are there. If you see leeches in that area, they look like the Cycloides line, which I saw them and I was surprised because at the time, again, when I was learning, I said, these are supposed to be Kogus. Well, we know the Kogus animals, again, we were talking about the Trover Kogus animals, have bars like this. This Kogus animals that you see when you go to Mount Kogus have peppering in their bars, very similar to Nuano. So when I saw those pictures, I was all confused, thinking that, again, the Trover Kogus were Kogus. Well, it turns out the Trover Kogus nobody really knows exactly where in Mount Kogus they come from. Obviously, it's a very consistent line.
Yes, sir.
Kogus is also a very consistent line. Typical GT body style, long tail, but the bars on the side are heavy white bars with black pepper.
Yeah.
Really cool form, and again, very consistent form. So these animals came from someone who got them from Robbie Sipe in the very early days, and he got, I guess, a pair or some babies, and I purchased 6 babies. I grew them all up. They're very, very consistent. All the babies are very consistent. So that's like Kogus. Yeah, it's more yellow background. It's not as dark.
Yeah.
Trover animals and not as dark as, what you see as the Frida line dark morphs. So then there's Dumbeya. So Dumbeya is a form that's also from Mount Kogus, but it doesn't really have the same Kogus characteristics. It's also a dark morph gecko. It's definitely a blotched dark morph gecko.
Yeah.
And it has, I guess, they're not super crisp white blotches. It's more like a Kogus-y blotch where it's a little bit muted. The females have a little bit more than the males. They have a longer tail. They have a more normal GT head. The male's got a pretty big head and really nasty. They're pretty. They have no pattern down the center typically.
So there are more than one form of gecko in Mount Kogus. One of the main reasons for that, like anywhere on New Caledonia, is there's been lots of deforestation in certain areas, and the primary forest, which is where these geckos are found, occur in areas around water sources. So you'll have many streams coming off of the same mountain, and at the base of that stream, or where the stream comes out of the earth, there'll be lots of primary forest, and then nothing next to it, above it, below it. So it's really kind of surreal. For sure, the trees do not get water from rain only. They rely on the moisture from the earth and from these streams. And because the forest grows all around these streams and there's so much vegetation, it becomes a little microhabitat. So in these little microhabitats, you can have a specific form of Leachianus gecko, and because there's no connectivity to other areas, they can be isolated there and form a specific look, specific characteristics, specific differences from many other forms. Frank and I noticed this in many places in New Caledonia, but definitely in Mount Kogus. So that's why I see there are many forms from Mount Kogus, and there are differences in them. The animals that are very commonly seen around the lodge, there are what are known as the Sipe form. Exactly what little pocket the Trover animals were collected from is unclear at this point. So we know, of course, that's a specific form and it's very consistent, but the exact location is unknown.
오늘 영상에서는
비교적으로 조금 덜 알려진 숨겨진 보석 같은 GT 퓨어 로컬 아이들에 대해서 한번 알아봤어요. 이 영상들을 보시면서 마음에 들었던 GT 퓨어 로컬 아이들이 혹시 있으셨을까요? 오늘도 영상 마무리하기 전에 설문조사 이벤트에 대해서 한번 말씀드려볼게요. 제가 지금 리키 전문 샵을 이제 오픈을 할 예정인데, 우리 시청자분들께서 찾으시는 좋아하시는 리키 종류에 대해서 설문조사를 하고 있어요. 아래 고정 댓글을 보시면은 설문조사에 관련된 링크가 있는데, 그 링크를 클릭해서 응해주시면은 리피니시스 가골 욥기 사료를 20% 할인해서 이제 구매를 하실 수 있는 할인권을 드리고 있으니 많은 참여 부탁드릴게요. 특히 저희처럼 리키 덕후인 분들이 주변에 계시다면은 그분들도 같이 참여해 주시면은 정말 감사하겠습니다. 리키 덕후인 분들의 목소리를 최대한 반영해서 저희 샵에 이렇게 반영을 하고 싶거든요. 그러면 오늘 영상은 여기서 마무리하도록 하겠습니다. 감사합니다.